In the United States of America, the country, right? At all times, you have at least three, most times four government entities with their own laws, their own law enforcement above you, under like you're under their purview at all times. The reason I constantly say this and constantly bring it up is because there are so many people who are just so balls deep in the Trump derangement sauce that they allow and they are encouraged and allowed to ignore the other three government entities that you really that are far more intrusive and invasive and intimate than the federal one. So this is coming to us from Washington Examiner. Trump denies Minnesota's governor's request for $500 million to repair damage from riots. This is written by Andrew Mark Miller, and this is my favorite story. It really is, because the feminine would hear that and be like, oh, it's so cut and dry. Like, it's so cut and dry with this. The feminine will hear that and be like, how dare the federal government not, throw them all the money in the world to fix up after the riots. The masculine will see that, wait a second, you had mayors and you had governors that in law enforcement who all have, law enforcement apparatuses that could have shut all of this down within, boom, like that. But they decided to try and bait Trump into sending in all the troops and making it look oh so terrible. There's actually a story coming out of Portland right now where some National Guardsmen defended I think a courthouse or something like that, and the left, the Democrats over there are sitting there screaming, "Oh my goodness, he's sending in the Third Reich!" Like, come on, yeah. Come on. President Trump has denied a request from Minnesota's governor for money to rebuild parts of Minneapolis that were destroyed during the riots following the death of George Floyd. The governor is disappointed that the federal government declined his request for financial support, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz's office said in a statement. As we navigate one of the most difficult periods in our state's history, we look for support from our federal government to help us through. You should have shut it down. You could have shut it down. Like, honestly, Walt, you, the mayor, all of you guys had the ability to shut it down. You didn't want to, because you wanted to bait the president into pushing for that. And then he was like, no, this is your job. This is your responsibility. This is your jurisdiction. Like, honestly, they should all be really, like, if I were a citizen of any of these municipalities, I would be furious at these folks. And I have absolutely no doubt that there are plenty of people out there who are, because this is what you pay the taxes for. It's so things like this can get, like things don't get too out of hand. But nope. We gotta sit here and try to bait the president. And honestly, people, like, and to the people, to the regular folks, to the business owners of these areas, my heart goes out to you. Make absolutely no mistake. It is your elected class that really did you in on this one. Waltz, a Democrat, asked that Trump declare Minnesota a major disaster zone in a request to the Federal Emergency Management Agency on July 2nd after more than 1,500 buildings were damaged by looting and rioting in the wake of Floyd's death, totaling over $500 million in damages. That you really should have just squashed when you had the chance, but you didn't. At least one Republican in the state had lobbied the Trump administration in opposition to the request, arguing that the state's response to the unrest should be thoroughly reviewed. And you know what? Jersey should be next. Honestly, Jersey shouldn't get a single dollar for the economic, for the CV economic relief, when Murphy's the one that really put the hammer down on it. If the federal government is expected to assist in the cleanup of these unfortunate weeks, it has an obligation to every American prior to the release of funding to fully understand the events which allowed for this level of destruction to occur and ensure it never happens again, Rep. Tom Emmer wrote to the Trump administration in a letter. Another congressman, Rep. Jeff Duncan of South Carolina, praised the Trump administration's decision to reject Minnesota's request, placing blame on the local officials who told the police to stand down during the rioting. And that's why, like these areas, these places, I can't really speak for Minnesota or Minneapolis, even though it's pretty clear. Like the ideologies and the agendas that drive a lot of the people in these elected positions, particularly the blue elected positions, is scary. It really is. There are literal communists running around in this capitalist system, taking just endless dollars from taxpayers, like making six figures from taxpayers, and yet still believe in communist ideology. Like it don't work. It don't add up. And that's why those types of individuals are especially dangerous, because they are blind and cannot see exactly, like how you got to the point that you got. They just are enjoying the cheese as a mouse and not really caring how it got there. Great news. At Real Donald Trump has denied Minnesota's disaster request to repair $500 million in damage from the riots, Duncan tweeted. Governors and mayors who ordered police to stand down and watch their cities burn shouldn't get a penny in taxpayer aid. Yeah, I'd fist bump them. I would fist bump them. Conservative radio host Mark Levin echoed that's the sentiment expressed by the two Republicans, telling Minnesota politicians to pay for your own man-made hell. And you know what? You guys know how I feel about ideologies. Not really rocking with them, but right is right, wrong is wrong, and red team's right on this one, like straight up and down. So much for Utopia. So much for your summer of no, it was the Chaz with the summer of love thing, but it's the same energy. Let's not be coy about this at all. So, props to the Trump administration for basically being an adult and saying, no, we're like, this is your mess. You made your bed. Now you have to lay in it. And that's the crazy part about like the left and the fatherlessness of the left, because a lot of them just never heard that phrase before. Like, what make my own bed? What? My mom says I don't have to make my own bed. Anyways, guys, all the internet stuff. If you liked it, toss it a like. Dislike, go ahead, do that too. Nobody's scared of you. Sub if you enjoy my fantastic voice. You want to get videos like this every single day. Share, because sharing is caring. And YouTube and Bitchute and like aren't the biggest fans of your boy over here for very obvious reasons. Bang the bell for notifications and speak. Let me know. What do you guys think in the comments? Do you think that they should be given anything? Because I really no. Like you were wholly irresponsible with this. Like, you could have shut this down off top. Mayor, not even governor, mayor, you dropped the ball. But you may disagree. You may be like, no, that mayor and their law enforcement, I mean, it's just so bad. It's just so terrible. Law enforcement. Like, look, nothing's perfect, but the reason that the taxes are as they are is to ensure that, hey, when adults come out to play, the children go to bed. And unfortunately, that's not what the mayor in this instance did. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and until the next one.